Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into one of India's most critical social welfare programs, the midday meal scheme. And we're going to look at the pervasive corruption that threatens its entire purpose, actually feeding children. Let's just start with this question because, wow, it cuts right to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? This isn't just about a meal. It's really a test of a government's most basic, most fundamental promise to its kids. Okay, so before we dive into everything that's going wrong, let's get on the same page. What's the incredible promise behind this whole nationwide initiative? What was it actually designed to do? At its core, the scheme, which you'll also hear called PM POSHAN, is actually pretty simple. It's the government saying, we will provide one hot cooked meal to kids in our schools every single school day. It's supposed to be one of the most powerful tools for social good in the entire country.
And its goals are huge. We're talking about using just one meal a day to tackle some of the biggest roadblocks a child can face. Yeah, it fights hunger and malnutrition, obviously, but it also gives families a real reason to send their kids to school, and, just as important, to keep them there. It's supposed to be a lifeline for health and education, all packed onto one plate.
But, and this is a really big but, this is where the story takes a pretty dark turn. That lifeline, that promise, is being systematically pulled apart. It's become a feeding ground, all right? Just not for the kids. The words used here are really telling, right? Siphoning lakhs and crores. We're talking about hundreds of thousands, even tens of millions over piece. Reports from all over the country paint this really grim picture. It's not a program that's just kind of failing. It's a program that is being actively robbed, leaving kids with watery dal, rotten rice, or sometimes just nothing. And this forces us to think about this differently. This isn't just about bad management or, some inefficiency in the system. When there's no real accountability, no one watching, it creates the perfect environment for a deliberate crime, literally stealing food right off the plates of children. So how exactly is this theft pulled off? How does a system designed to do so much good get twisted into a vehicle for corruption? Let's break down the mechanics of the scam. Okay, method number one, and this one is just as cynical as it sounds: ghost children. Officials just inflate the attendance numbers on paper. They'll claim 100 kids showed up for lunch when really only 60 were in school. That lets them claim all the extra grain and money for those 40 non-existent meals, which then get pocketed or sold on the black market. The second method is all about extreme and dangerous cost cutting. This is how you end up with those stories of watery dal or rotten vegetables. To make as much profit as possible, the people in charge will just dilute the meals, use the absolute cheapest, lowest quality ingredients they can find, or even serve food that's flat out unsafe. They're literally prioritizing profit over a child's health. And the third common method, well, this one involves a whole corrupt network. You've got suppliers, school principals, and local officials all working together. They create fake bills or wildly over-invoice for ingredients that were never even bought. The extra money is then just split up among everyone in on the scam. So you hear all this, and you might feel a little helpless, right? But what's really interesting is how we can move from just understanding this huge national problem to actually doing something about it right where we live. It turns out there are things that you, as a citizen, can absolutely do. This is about shifting our focus. The fact that corruption exists isn't really up for debate. The real question we should be asking is a local one. How bad is it right here, in the schools in my neighborhood, my town, my city? And here's a really simple 3-step social audit that literally anyone can do. First, just visit a bunch of local schools around lunchtime. Second, do a quick head count of the kids eating and compare that number to what's written in the official attendance register. See a big difference? Third, just look at the meal. Take a picture. What's the quality like? How much food are they actually serving? See, the heart of this verification process is just so simple. You're just comparing what the official records claim is happening with what the people on the ground, the parents and the kids, are actually experiencing. The records say there's food every day. So you ask, do you get food every day? It's that direct. Now, for those of you who want to dig even deeper, there's a really powerful tool called the Right to Information Act, or RTI. You can file a request for specific official documents, like how much grain the school was given each month, who the food suppliers are, and exactly how much they were paid. This is how you get the hard data. So ultimately, what this all calls for is a shift in our collective mindset. We have to move from just passively assuming the system works and that kids are being fed to an active state of verification. We just have to start checking. And that's where we'll leave this explainer, with a final thought and maybe a mission. This question isn't just for officials or journalists anymore, it's for all of us. How bad is the problem in our own communities? And what are we willing to do to find the evidence and demand that the promise on that plate is actually delivered?